Recorded Books presents Since You've Been Gone by Tari Faris, narrated by Libby Mcknight. Chapter 1. One person can fail only so many times. That was her theory. So, after 2 big failures in her life, a win had to be around the next corner for Leah Williams. If only her twin saw it the same way. Leah's heels clicked their way up the wide sidewalk toward the office building of Heritage Fruits as her sister's protests rambled through the phone. "Yes, Caroline, I'm going to this meeting and I'm moving back home. I've already started airing out Grandma and Grandpa's farmhouse." And boy, did that house need airing out. Caroline and Grant had taken care of the most necessary maintenance, but the inside had been left pretty much untouched. At least they'd covered the furniture with sheets, but she'd still be dusting for days. "I just think meeting with Dale is a bad idea." Caroline's words were slow and articulated. Her sister meant well, and Leah appreciated the concern. After all, she had heard all about the problems George Kensington's difficult brother had caused after taking over when George and his wife passed away a few years ago. But she'd had a verbal agreement with George. Dale had to honor it. Leah squinted against the May sun as she checked her reflection in the glass door. Pinching the phone to her ear with her shoulder, she shuffled her briefcase to the other hand and retucked her white, long-sleeve blouse into the back of her navy pencil skirt. The briefcase completed her "don't mess with me, I know what I'm doing" look, even if it was empty, except for her sketchbook and her latest vintage-inspired dress that she'd stayed up until 3 a.m. sewing. She'd never been that great with numbers, but she'd spent most of the past 2 months poring over designs that would sell. "Why do you even want to do this?" Caroline's words had taken on that big sister tone. Somehow, being 4 minutes older made Caroline believe she had all the answers. No doubt she'd be blocking Leah's path this minute if she wasn't 8 months pregnant and on bed rest. "You were the one who convinced me we should close the Wi-Fi to begin with." "I know, but things are different now." She'd closed the Wi-Fi with hopes of capturing a little bit of the passion and fulfillment her brother David had written about in his letters. But being a missionary hadn't filled that nagging desire for purpose she'd been seeking for so long. She'd just been living someone else's life. Again. But that wasn't something she fully understood herself, let alone would be able to explain in a 2-minute phone conversation with Caroline. "I gotta go. I'll call you later." Leah popped the briefcase open just far enough to shove her phone inside. She smoothed a wisp of her red hair back toward the severe bun that pinched her scalp. But binding her wild curls would be a small price to pay if it meant she'd walk away with a renewed lease. She entered the building, crossed the lobby, and punched the elevator button. When the doors opened, she stepped inside, selected the 4th floor, and drew a slow, calming breath as the elevator rose to the top. It opened to a quiet lobby and the 12-foot ceilings that she remembered. But the sleek, frosted glass reception desk and no-nonsense young blonde who sat behind it, not so much. What had happened to George's secretary with her warm smile and candy bowl full of peppermints? "May I help you?" The woman looked up from her computer, but her fingers stayed positioned over the keyboard. The bowl of peppermints had been replaced with a brass nameplate that read Marcy Gold, and the warm smile replaced with tight red lips. Leah searched her mind for any gold.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?